Hello, hello. Amelia, what's up? Hi, hi, hi. Hey, Griffin. Hey, Mia. Hello, everyone. How's it going? How was everyone's weekend? Also, one moment. I am just posting out to Twitter right now. Just to let people know what's going on. Bear with me a moment here. To figure out a better way to automate these going live. Here we go, here we go. Oh man. Oh, I'm excited to get back to work on this. This is gonna be fun. Where is it? Profile. Let's see. Oh, I think that's good. Doesn't stream on. Close enough. Boom, there it goes out the door. The world knows. Twitter knows that we're doing it. Okay. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Didn't mean to delay. Yo, what's up, Desi Main? Welcome back to the stream. Mimi as well. Welcome back to the stream. Hey, what's up, Ray? What's up, Kaya? Rough, but better now that you get to watch the master work. Too kind, Griffin. I'm glad to be back too. I'm glad you guys are excited to watch me work on this a bit more. I've had some thoughts. Let's see if I can brighten this up ever so slightly in here. A little dark. Maybe let's try this one. Oh. That might be a little better. There we go. It's very dark in here, as it should be in hell. But we are gonna, work through this and figure out how we're gonna do this. Tweet. Hopefully we got people piling on here. People heard it. We're live. What's up, Aramore? Welcome back to the stream. Alora, you too. Antig. Hi, everybody. All right. Tweet is out, Discord announcement is out, and we are ready to work on the layout here in hell. So, I think okay. The big focus today is working on relaying out hell. And I do think, honestly, if they'll allow me to, I probably have some ideas about even relaying out heaven as well. But I wanted to take, I think, a first stab at, first and foremost, maybe shifting this room around a little bit. And I think that was one of the biggest asks right from the get-go when I was asked about this project and working on it. A big thing was, you know, did I have ideas? Did I think I'd be down to rework especially the dance floor and the sort of general layout of hell? So we're gonna do that. So just having another look around here. I was actually just in here right before stream taking some photos and stuff of how this thing looked before we start tearing this place apart. Because, you know, always good to see before and after if possible. And yeah, we're just going to get right into it. And I'm just going to start ripping stuff apart and shifting things around. So for anybody who you know, wants to say good farewell, here's your chance. Take a look. Take one last look before we start moving stuff around. But it will live on in VODs and it will live on in screenshots and all that stuff. Yeah, we're gonna make this happen. Okay, so how are we gonna do this? And for anybody who wasn't in my previous stream where I started talking about the sort of brainstorming and overall planning of this whole club, so we are here in Eluded Ecstasy, a existing nightclub on Crystal here in Final Fantasy, Crystal Data Center in Final Fantasy XIV, and this club's whole theme is heaven, hell, and purgatory even. There's 3 floors of the club. You enter into purgatory, and if you go upstairs, you go to the heaven dance floor and bar area. And if you go downstairs, you go to the hell dance floor and bar area. And both are heavily themed in, obviously, those aesthetics in the very classic heaven and hell appearance. And something actually I looked up after the stream the first time was, so purgatory isn't so much, it's sort of limbo, but from what I understand, and someone correct me if they know this very well, but my understanding is purgatory is actually more like specifically a place where you get to kind of wait around to try to get into heaven. Like it's your testing ground or something, where you get to kind of like try to work yourself. Like if you're on the fence, like you're not an obvious in on heaven. Purgatory is the place they send you where they're like, okay, you got some weirdness, but like you're like redeemable. So like you're gonna have a chance to sort of redeem yourself a little bit in purgatory, work through some of that stuff, and then you get to go to heaven, hopefully. It's not limbo. It's not complete limbo, where you're like, I was imagining purgatory as like you're sent to a void because you're not really bad enough to go to hell and you're not good enough to go to heaven. So you're kind of in almost like not a whiteout space, but just like a void or something. But that's not totally true, right? Am I correct in that? Did I get that understanding correct? That it's kind of like, there you go, Bodoke saying, yeah, it's a period of time you have to pay for your sins in order to go to heaven. You do not go to hell, you just have to wait. Right, so it's the waiting room of heaven, and very specifically of heaven. So to say, this is an important distinction. So actually, here, while we're talking about this, I should show you what I'm talking about, right? So when I first was planning this out last time, right? Here, when we walk in through this front door, we arrive here in purgatory, right? And hold on, let me make sure the shader doesn't blow everyone's eyes out. So, okay. So we arrive here in purgatory. And I remember when I first looked at this, I thought, I feel like this needs, like I would take this in a direction that feels extremely neutral, right? So like really stark, dramatically, almost like with the color sucked out of it or something, right? Where it's extremely neutral, because it's not really good and it's not really bad. But actually this is an important distinction that we've just made, where purgatory is really the waiting room of heaven. And so it should actually lean heavenly a little bit, right? It's still not a good place to be, so we don't want it to feel like fuzzy rainbows and unicorns and stuff, but it is distinctly not a void, and it is not hell at all tinged with like hell or something like that, right? I see. So judgment has already been made at that point, and everybody goes to purgatory for a time, except Christ, according to Catholic schooling. Got you. Okay. Oh, I see. So everybody must pass through purgatory regardless, basically, because nobody is like 100% clean, so to speak. So everybody has to pay their dues to ensure that by the time they get to true heaven, they kind of have any last little bit of weirdness cleansed away, or their chance to figure that shit out. By the way, Off the Knife, thank you very much for that follow. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. What's up, Yodrin and Brendan? And I think I already said hello to Laura, but Liara, hello, you too. If I missed anybody, I apologize, but hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. What's up, Off the Knife? How you doing? Okay, so this is, but this is a good distinction. So there is not a level, it's not really a place of judgment in a way. Although, that being said, it does sound like you do have to kind of like Bode or anyone else. So, oh, no worries, Amelia. Yeah, do what you gotta do. So, Bode Oak, or again, anybody else who knows this stuff. So, for purgatory, is it that there is a level of judgment because you are kind of like, they're kind of like, let's just say you're like, well, you're 95% good, but we need to figure out the last 5%. So we're going to monitor you, and then we are kind of judging you. And then once you are deemed truly worthy, you get to go to heaven. Or is it simply you're weighed before you arrive in purgatory, and they say, well, you're 95% good, so your penalty is you must wait for 3 years in purgatory. And it doesn't really matter, like you're already kind of like in the clear at that point. It's just literally you must do the time, like jail or something almost, right? Like, you know, you got to do the time for the crime before you get to go to heaven. But it's not a matter of like, you know, oh, you must do X amount of good deeds or like show certain features while you're in purgatory. Complete judgment has already been passed. Can anyone clarify that for me? This is important, for me at least, because I am very much trying to figure out how to theme this place and double down on all of the thematical elements that make this club the heaven, hell, purgatory thing. So for me, I want to really understand what purgatory is or isn't, to hopefully make that land really hard for people when they see this place. And here's actually another interesting way to think about this too. So I want someone to help clarify what it's supposed to be in terms of like maybe the Catholic description of it or the classic description of it. But there is a level of, here's something to think about, right? When you make a club or even when you're theming anything, right? There is a level of, here's what the book says it's supposed to be. But there is a second way of thinking of it, which is, here is what people think it's supposed to be. Right? And when I say that, I mean, we're not actually building a purgatory where it has to function per se, but really what is important for heaven, hell, and purgatory here is that when a nightclub goer arrives at this club, everything needs to instantly register very clearly as to what it is, right? So if someone walks in here and they go, if you don't tell someone the theme of this club, my goal is it shouldn't have to be told. From the moment that you walk in the door, it's pretty obvious. Like, it should just be extremely obvious from every angle within the club, where you're at in the club and what it's supposed to be. They shouldn't have to have like gone to look up what all this stuff is, right? So in some sense, you want to capture people's classic imagining of what these places are. And heaven and hell are obviously a little bit easier to do that than maybe purgatory. But that's kind of where I'm going with this, where I'm trying to understand, okay, what is it literally? What is it supposed to be by the book? And then how am I going to meld that with my own interpretation of that and what I think people expect to see in purgatory or heaven or hell? Interestingly, this was brought up like in the recent Jurassic Parks and stuff too, where similarly there, right? Where I think it was Alan Wu, the Asian doctor guy, who says, you do realize, right, that like none of these dinosaurs in this park look like they really probably would. We engineered them to look how people expect them to, because that's why you go to the theme park. That's why you go to these spaces, is you want to see that thing in your imagination come to life. You don't necessarily care that it looks accurate, right? So an interesting question to ask oneself when theming things, right? Okay, so let's see here. What is everyone saying? So check DMs too. Oh, I see. Sorry, one sec. Okay, sorry, let me catch you. Okay, so, Griffin's saying, so think of it like after school detention. It's punishment, but limited time, versus hell, which is eternal. Okay, right, so. Okay, so if I was making a waiting room for heaven, I would allow the people waiting to see what they're missing. That's true, that would be, but although that's arguably torturous, anyway. So, Purgatory is just the waiting room from Beetlejuice. There you go, Kai, that's the vibe. Purgatory, okay, so I see. Maybe in the context of a house, purgatory is a long hallway where you choose your destination at the end. Right. So, okay. Yeah, so of the knife, right now, the way they have it, right, is it is true that actually that is the thing. You arrive in purgatory and you choose a doorway. So it's not so much a hallway as much as it is that actually right now you go right to go to heaven and you go left to go to hell, right? Signified by the fiery torch and the crystalline light over here. And the way they currently have it operating, they have it where they will block off one side or the other based off of which area is open at the time. So you don't really get to choose actually when you're here. When you're actively at the club, they will block off. Actually, so I took it out right before the stream started. But here's what happens, right? So when this club first opens up in a night, they do this, right? They have this blocked off like this, and then that way it's implied that okay, everybody's going to heaven first, and then halfway through the night, they do a little call out and ding, 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 and everybody switches and runs down to hell. And so you get both flavors on a given night. And that's really also to keep everybody together, like where the DJ is, where the party is and stuff too, right? But so to say that that's part of, this is indeed a large. So yeah, here, I guess maybe just let's, why not? We'll run through the whole club again really quick. Really, really quick. Uh-oh, messed that up. It's okay, I'm a professional. I can fix it. So, that's not even. Oops. There we go. There we go. Okay, fixed. Like brand new. So here's the club, right? So you're entering purgatory. If you go to the right here, then you can go up to the stairway to heaven, And there's a stairway here. Taking the oh god, there we go. It's taking the stairway to heaven. Get it? And then you arrive at heaven. Here's the heaven bar up top. So if you go this way, you go to the heaven bar. And then if you go the other way, you have this light tunnel, which leads you to the heaven dance floor. And here's the heaven dance floor. Boom. Right? And then halfway through the night, they say, ding, 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 it's time. And everybody runs back over here. And we descend into hell. We go over here. Everybody comes through here. This has been opened whilst everybody was in heaven. And this barrier suddenly gets removed. And then everybody can run through here and run down here into hell. Okay, so now that we're all on the same page, right? Where that's what we're working with. We're working with the large, and we are trying to. Oh boy. So this is going to be the challenge here. Is we need to build on all 3 floors of this large, and if you guys know, have all talked to housing designers who make complex builds and stuff, such as myself. Then you know that typically speaking, we end up blocking off at least one of the floors because that's usually kind of what it takes to build a more complex design. So this is going to be an interesting challenge where we still want to keep the 3 floors all active, but I have spoken to the to the folks who run Eluded Ecstasy, and I did tell them up front that I'm going to be blocking off a decent chunk of a lot of stuff because if we want to achieve the theming that we want, and also the reason you'd hire someone like me is because you want someone to create something a bit more layered and a bit more complex. And in order to even have a shot at doing that nicely, ooh, that's cool. Nice way to take a photo right here. Boom. The only real way to do that is we're going to have to block off a lot of stuff. And that's really, I think, one of the biggest things we're going to do here today is this whole area is kind of gigantic. There's a lot of, you need a lot of room in hell, admittedly, but we are going to pull a lot of this in and rework this area first, and then I'm going to consider how I might even rework Purgatory and Heaven. And I think that we could do some fun stuff with this. I think we can do some interesting, fun things with this that will double down even more on some of the theming that we've got going on here. And we're gonna have some fun with this. Okay, so yeah, and no worries off the cloud. Yeah, I know you're not backseating. It's important, it's good. Like, I actually haven't worked on this I haven't worked in this club. I've been thinking through it and getting design ideas and, working through some concepts off stream and outside the game. But I haven't actually worked in this club for like a week. So it's good to have everybody have a chance to remember what this place looks like before we start working on it. So, yeah. And yes, okay, so we can't so people don't get to choose actively whether they go to heaven or hell, but I do like the idea of Purgatory having an element of judgment in there. Even if it's not that you're actively being judged, I do think that it makes sense that there is an element of time or judgment in Purgatory, because I do feel like the vibe for heaven and hell is a sense of eternity, and thus time is irrelevant. So, but in Purgatory, time is very much relevant still, I think. So I would be interested to see if we work in some elements of, judgment scales or clocks and these kinds of things. Amphi, exactly. We are of same wavelength. So. So, yeah. Light Tunnel will stay... Light Tunnel will stay the same, sort of. I know that was the ask to keep the light tunnel. I'm not taking away the light tunnel, but I have some ideas of what we might be able to do with that. But yeah, okay. So here we go. Let's rework hell. First of all, okay, I'm gonna go in here. Just small pro tip. When you are running through a build, if you are running around a lot and like going to be moving through stuff, especially like moving behind walls and stuff, just a nice tip is like put rotate on, just because in case you accidentally click something, you don't accidentally move an item, especially if you have a shitload of stuff all floating everywhere. Because if you, I think we've all been there. If you've done more of the complicated floaty stuff with housing where you're running through something, you accidentally click something, and then you accidentally even put it down, and now it's out of position. But if it's rotated, if it's the rotate tool, then you won't fuck anything up. All you'll do is relock it, right? So just, yeah, just a nice little tip there when you're running through. So what I mean is right now here, I'm going to run behind these walls to kind of just like see what's happening here. And I don't want to accidentally mess anything up. Although, admittedly, I'm tearing everything down. But okay, so here's something interesting. So we have a bunch of demons. I do really like this whole glowy thing happening with the demons. But it's interesting that they actually are using the curtains here to hide parts of the demons, I guess, instead of just having the demons poking through a fake wall. It's an interesting choice there, to use two items, right? Like using partitions and then also using curtains to hide the white squares that the demons are poking out of. That's interesting way to do that. But I also understand that probably when they were building, they were thinking that the demon walls were going to snap to partitions, and so they needed to figure out a way to have them in a cutout and then just cover up the white square. But that's not really neither here nor there, because we're going to be moving these around anyway. I do really like this concept, though, of the blinky light, or like the glowy light. I was actually thinking something along the lines of using that with other demons or other thematic elements. So, okay. I'm going to preface this right now, just so to say, there may be times where I'm building and I'm going to fall silent, and it's because I'm thinking through stuff, and I'm going to try to vocalize everything I'm thinking as best I can. But there may be moments where I pause for a moment or something, and I'm kind of just silent and staring at something. And it might be because I'm very quickly running through like a bunch of things in my head that, just so to say, to give you like a frame of reference of like what's happening. Because I think that's the whole vibe of this, is I'm trying to just showcase like as honest as possible. I'm trying to show you how I would actually do this. So this isn't like putting on a show or something. I'm legit rebuilding aspects of this live in front of you, and sometimes that's not gonna be the craziest looking. Let's see here. How many items are we at? Oh, you didn't even use all the items in here. Okay, so wow. What could I do with 13 slots? My goodness, so much I could do. But that's neither here nor there. We can move this around. First things first, this whole hall is not gonna happen. It cannot be this big. So how are we gonna do this? What's the order of operations here? Okay, tables go bye-bye. This gargoyles go away. I mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of those particular gargoyles. So apologies if you guys are, but I personally would rather use these gargoyles. Let me grab the other one. Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, I see what you said, Amelia. Gotcha. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, Cool. So give me these screens. Oh, that's from your... Oh, I see what it is. This is easy enough. So if anybody doesn't know what I just did there, you saw me pull the partitions away from the walls, and it was pulling a bunch of other stuff that was snapped to it. So I put a random item, in this case the royal partition, down, and then I stored it again. And by storing an item that is placed in the house, it disconnects everything that's snapped to anything. So that allowed me to then yoink all of the partitions out from there without actually pulling any of the elements that normally would snap to them. Okay, so, you know, okay, this is, actually, I hadn't thought of this. So, when I first was talking through this last Monday, a week ago, I originally said the thematic elements that I was going to be initially heavily basing my concepts for this off of was probably looking at concept art for things like Diablo, like the Blizzard game, right? Diablo 3 especially, and sort of their concept of heaven and hell, as well as maybe like Doom for hell, right? But actually now seeing all of these rusted partitions makes me think Silent Hill. So I actually think that could be another interesting way to look at this, is perhaps hell could have sorry, let me restart my sentence there. Perhaps another interesting point of inspiration could be to look at the Silent Hill games, and take inspiration from some of those. Because I do also feel like Silent Hill, especially the creepy part, you know, if you know Silent Hill, you understand what I mean by the creepy zone or whatever. Definitely, obviously evokes a lot of kind of like a hellscape type situation. Okay, to feel out this room though, actually, I don't actually want these here. I feel like they're too see-through, so they don't... Insufficient storeroom. Okay, yeah, whatever. What else do you guys have in this inventory, in this space? What do we have in our... Okay, sometimes it's worth looking what people have to work with already here. So starlight pillars. Oh, cute. Okay. Not relevant for us, but good. Paper partitions. So we have our factory partitions, bathtubs, the gargoyles, a fountain. That could be interesting. Shower stands. So we can make it rain. Bamboo planters. Slanted skylights. This will do, actually. This might do. Lot of chairs. Lots of chairs. You guys got lots of chairs. You guys got like a gajillion chairs. Pumpkin chairs and carbuncle chairs and Hingen chairs and Riviera stools, and you guys like sitting a lot, huh? A lot of tables too. I guess you got to sit at something. All right, crates and barrels, wine barrels. Oh, it's a party up in here. It is. I mean, it is a club. Hingen armor displays. These can be creepy, actually, if you frame them right. Kind of ghoulish in a way. That could be kind of interesting. Some interesting ideas to potentially fuse certain things together that don't typically get seen together. Wooden showcases, spice racks, seats for all. No worries, your storage is fine. If anything, I have lots of room in my inventory that I can always pull stuff out with. Oh, nice. We got some of these ropes. These are hard to get. Gemstones. Got tankards. Random stuffed animals. Random food items. Some lights. This lighting, which is right there. So this is... Okay, I definitely feel like we can lean into this more. Mentioned before that I like the spiky elements to get that very demonic architecture look. And in this case, these lights, I think, are going to work very much to our advantage to really get that hellscape. And I think this is something that is, again, very Silent Hill, right? Which is this calling out to the rust texture, right? So right now, there's not a lot of visual highlight of the rust that's happening with the walls. And I don't know for sure that we're going to keep the rust as the walls. But if we did, I do feel like having this very dramatic, creepy lighting on the rusted walls is very thematic of hell and very Silent Hill, like a very Silent Hill kind of thing to do. So that's a pretty interesting way. I'm going to put this in my inventory because then I can remember that it's there. We have bathroom tiles. These are good for concrete or measuring through the floor, and we're going to definitely be doing that to line things up. I do think there's going to be some level of some interesting overlappy stuff that we might try to do. Okay, so okay, let's think this through. Where is the front door? Okay, so thinking through this, right? Here's an interesting way to look at this too, right? Is because because we're working with all three floors, I have to consider this whole building as one unit, and something that I think is something that could trip you up if you don't think through it a little bit from the get-go is what larger items may go on each floor, and will any of them need to be pushed up through the floor in order to create some kind of an effect. So what do I mean by this, right? So here is actually something that I was thinking. This is, okay, for the people from Eluded Ecstasy, here's a thought that I'm going to lob out to you. And I guess, let's see how we think about this. So when I was thinking through how to rework this plate as a whole, part of what I was thinking is, I like the whole Stairway to Heaven thing, although I think that this could be more grand, right? So I understand why. This is extremely efficient. It's one single item, or possibly two, I think. I don't think it actually goes that high, single item. There might be 2 or 3 of these stacked on top of each other. I think it's 3. But still, it's very slot efficient, and it does clearly ascend you to heaven, and I get that. But there was a piece of me that thought it would be kind of cool to actually legit like get the grand Stairway to Heaven thing going on. And so there was a piece of me that wanted to take the actual stairs, or some kind of version of custom stairs, and actually legit make a walkable, big, grand Stairway to Heaven. You actually have this a little bit in your other FC house, from what I saw. So with that potential thought, then comes the concept, though, of how do you make grand stairways besides literally just using the actual staircase? Probably you'd, in the case of heaven, you'd probably want the a marbly staircase or something to that effect. And that probably means you're floating stuff up from the bottom floor. So if that's the case, though, then there has to be an element of understanding that right there, you're going to start having elements popping through the floor, right? So now if right there we have elements popping through the floor and we go back down to hell, that means right there is where our dance floor has to stop, right? Because if you were to go and have the DJ booth here, and then you had a bunch of shit hanging down from the ceiling because it's creating the stairs above, this creates an issue where you either have to somehow hide all of the crap that's hanging here, or you start the wall right here, right? So this is not necessarily a game-changing, game-breaking, we can't do this anymore problem, but it is something that is worth thinking about when you're building in larger houses where you're going to be working with multiple floors. I try to think about this kind of thing where I'm planning kind of I don't know, planning on multiple levels of like, well, if I make the dance floor XYZ big, what does that now negate as a possibility on the floor above? Or what will I have to bend over backwards to cover up something that might be an essential element for the upstairs floor, you know? So like this was, I mean, for those of you who know that I did, have seen Obsidian, for example, like that one is an interesting challenge because for those of you who are housing people and were in Obsidian at all, then you might have picked up on some of the ways I had to hide stuff, or some of the reasoning why the middle, like the top floor entrance area of Obsidian is structured the way it is partially thematically, but it's also very specifically in a formation that lets me hide all the other stuff that you shouldn't be seeing. So, you know, like that was very much a double-leveled thing that I was designing through. And then, you know, there's another way to look at that, which is Ichi doesn't really have too much stuff pushed through the floor. So for the most part, Ichi didn't have that issue, but it was something I did consider when I was building there. And so when we're here too, yeah, you know, what I mean by why this could be an issue is most commonly when people do the big staircases, they often use this because it's gymongous and it covers a lot of area, right? But it's gymongous and it covers a lot of area. So if you can imagine this being pushed through the floor, it only needs to push through about that much, maybe, right? I think. So you can see how this is a gigantic thing that we'd have to hide if we were to use this, right? So we might be able to get away with something like this. Staircases won't be as big, and then we move it this way. And we say that the stairway is actually only a half stairway, perhaps. It leads you up and to the right, or up and even to the left. And then we don't have to deal with such a wide element. Also, alternatively, we don't even use the natural staircase, and we actually just build our own custom staircase that starts like over here, potentially. It's another way to look at it. Right, so it is possible that overcomplicates things and it won't actually work out, but that is another way we can look at that. So here, let's start by doing this. Do you have partitions in here? Or stage panels? Paper partitions, factory partitions. Okay, not really. Do you have housing permits? Yes, you do. Perfect. Okay. I need one of these guys and possibly Junkmonger for dyes, but probably not right away. But good to have them. Dang it. Okay. Yeah, whatever. They can be whatever. What a contrast. Okay. So here we go. Partitions, give me... What's something simple that we can just use for blocking? Ingen, Glade. Yeah, let's go with Glade. I think. Actually, wait, no, let's go with Hingen. Just because I'm thinking we might end up using that. I know for a fact that 3 partitions should stretch across... Wait, no, we're in a large. This might need more than that. Okay, we'll see how many we need here. I'm gonna try blocking this off. I just need to see... I need to visually feel out how this is gonna work. Where am I at? That's the middle of the house. Okay, so let's just say... This is actually about where Ichi is. It's about this big, I think. It's a little bit farther back, maybe. About there. Okay. So we need 3 more. Six across. Okay. Okay. Did that. Okay. There we go. Okay, so immediately changes the feel. Right, so I mentioned this last time too, but it's very important that because we're in a club, we want to make sure that it feels good, because this is a space that people are going to be standing around in for a lot of time and moving around the space, right? So we want to make sure that this feels good. So you see how I blocked off almost half of the room, but it still feels very much spacious, right? You could easily see how this is plenty of room for a full dance floor. So I remember I talked about this last time, but I know sometimes people feel that you need to have the full space because otherwise it's going to be too cramped or something. But quite frankly, based off of the limit of people that can be in a house, chopping off half of the basement is totally fine. And you could still have an absolutely packed house and people would still have room to move around. So this will not be an issue. And this also means that you could probably also understand how this would make it where you need less people to make the dance floor feel full. So, right, you can, like, if you have 10 people, and honestly, we could even chunk it off even more, right? This is still pretty open. But you could think how, if there's 10 people out here, it feels pretty empty, right? But the more you kind of move things in, whether you have 10 people, or you have 100 people, or you have 150 people, it will still always feel like there is enough people. It never feels cavernous, it never feels empty, right? So, Rensetsu, hey! Rensetsu, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for that follow. I remember you, Rensetsu. You did the awesome graphics for the Float and Chill pool party. And I know that you are a well-known person here in nightlife. I've heard your name come up a number of times. And Sutarusu, that chunkmonger's name is David, this guy? Hello, David. You do well. In fact, maybe we'll put you at the bar. You look like a bartender of sorts. Mongering your drink junks. And we'll put the Namazu here just to get him out of the way. Okay, so... Storage is packed. Like that, you have close. Okay. So, all right. I have some. Let's see. Okay, so what are elements here that need to happen? Again, normally this is an internal dialogue that's happening in my head, but I'm going to try to vocalize what I'm thinking through, so that way you guys aren't just staring at me, staring at stuff. Okay, so now with this space that we have, what needs to happen in here? There needs to be a dance floor, there needs to be a bar, there needs to be, well, okay, the most essential thing. There needs to be a dance floor, and there needs to be a bar. I think everything else is arguably optional, although of course you ideally want some kind of seating and possibly doing these dance pole kind of things. So a couple of rough things we're gonna go for here. I'm thinking that instead of maybe not so much dance poles, but maybe a dance cage, because that feels very hellscapey to me, you know, like the caged kind of elements and stuff. So I'm thinking maybe some kind of cage situation a dance cage, as it were. And then the bar, I want to be a little bit more fiery and hellscapey. I don't think it's going to go right there, though, because I think we're going to do some interesting stuff with the stairs there to make it feel a little bit more dramatic coming down into hell. Because I do feel like for hell, honestly, as well as heaven, a big thing that helps, that really sells it for people is the entryway, basically, you know? So I do kind of maybe want to free up this space a little bit to do something more with the stairs. So, okay, let's always thinking about the user's journey through this space, right? So, honestly, I know we teased this a little bit last time, but I kind of want them to drop into hell like this, right? And so the journey through the space. So let's just say that they either walk down the stairs or they land into hell this way, right? In any case, how would they, which way are they facing regardless of what happens, right? So if they walk down the stairs, they walk down this way and they face this. If they drop into hell, I guess we probably would have them drop, they'd probably drop this way, but that kind of puts them against a wall. But maybe we can figure out a way to get them to loop around here and then drop in this way so that they're still kind of facing stuff. I don't know, it's not that essential, but I think that descending into hell in a very dramatic way would be very thematically awesome. And I do feel like I've mentioned this many times on every single one of the times I talk about clubs, but I think there's a huge bonus points that you get whenever you give people an impact moment when they first see an area. So I think ideally you don't ever drop and you don't face a wall immediately. Yeah, so let's see here. Suterusu, are you also a club designer, I'm guessing? It sounds like you also design clubs, just from the way you're talking, I'm guessing. So yeah, so we have, okay, so you need the impact moment when you're arriving. Let's imagine for a moment. Okay, wait. Oh, actually, I realized this hallway doesn't have to necessarily be this way. Technically, you could drop in from this direction as well. I don't... Oh, no, actually, that's not even necessarily the case. Yeah. We could actually get them to drop from this area and drop down that way. If we just do some forced pathing, we can get them to drop in this way or this way. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so where should the bar go? Where would the bar go? What would be the most... So not just where can things literally go, but what would be the most fun? What would be the most fun thing to have happen? Let's think through this. So we have the dance floor. Okay. Suterusu, what venue is that though? I don't know what that plot equates to. But yeah, so That's fair. No. I wasn't asking you to advertise. I was just curious, like if you had done a space or not. But since you brought up the plot number, I was just saying I don't know what club that is. Like, I don't think it's wrong if you just like name what club it was. I am asking in this case, which club is that? I'm just curious. But we won't go farther than that. So, okay, so all right, I like this idea of pit to hell. Okay, since we're dropping down, what's interesting? I almost want us to be partying in like a dungeon. Right? Like, it kind of needs to, okay, I'm kind of imagining almost like imagine you're fusing some of the architectural elements of, you know, some Sauron, Mount Doomy kind of stuff, maybe the Diablo stuff, but kind of almost like in the cave rave of the Matrix. You know? Because you're still partying in hell. So I don't know, I do feel kind of like there's a take on it. Oh, is it like hellish hellscape that just feels really creepy? Or is it kind of like, you know, almost like a cave rave or something, maybe, with a lot of fire though, you know? I think that could be kind of cool and something a little bit different, maybe, than necessarily just a straight up box, you know what I mean? And this is something I'm always trying to think about, like, for, you know, is, if possible, I always like to think of laying out a club in a way that just feels different than a big box that usually people are used to. So, like, let's see here. Cool. Okay, so we have circular things here. Okay, what if it was a pit? Like a fiery pit, or like or should it be a piece of a destroyed demonic castle, or should it be or could it be legit like a cave, or should it be more just that like Silent Hill creepy kind of, like, almost like, not torture chamber quite, but kind of like that vibe. You know, inside the architecture of the palace versus looking at the exterior. And I think probably what I'm leaning towards here is to say it should be, the structure of the place could be something like maybe a cave, and then maybe the stage area or some of the main elements are more like, have the architectural elements in there, the demonic spikiness and these kinds of things kind of jutting out from the walls. I think that could be kind of cool and create some dynamics between the areas, you know? And again, trying to maybe break away from, I think, if anything, actually, heaven is the place that should feel more symmetrical and structured, and hell should be a bit more chaotic and a bit more asymmetrical and a bit more almost dynamic feeling in a way, where a lot of movement, a lot of fiery stuff, like moving around, a lot of energy, right? Okay, yeah. That could be interesting. You like the theme here? Yeah. Bode Oak I was referring to. Okay, let's try this. How does that feel? Right? So just changing the shape of the room so it's not just a box. So you could start imagining that there's a bit more of a curvature around. And then that way, perhaps this is the stage with the right here, right? I mean, that kind of makes sense. Lets us potentially make use of the chandelier if we use that properly. I kind of like the idea of the bar not being here, so you don't have to flip around to see it, that the bar could be quite a visual piece, so it'd probably be over here, or possibly even up here. So when you, let's see, when you drop down... I'm dropping down this way. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Yeah, okay. I kind of want to take away these elements because I feel like they're kind of distracting from us seeing what this all is. Boop, 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 boop. Bye, 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 bye. Go, 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 go. Come on. Give me a couch. There we go. Okay, so let's see here. So if we land here, we have... Would that be a better stage? It is kind of cool if it was maybe to come down like this and you just have the stage right there. Boom. You just get the really nice view. Like, it wouldn't be the end of the world to turn the corner and have the stage there. I know that's what I have at Ichi. But there's also something to be said about having the stage just straight up, like, right in front of you. You know, especially if potentially you do this thing. Boop, drop, bam. I kind of like that idea of getting dropped right into it. And it's like right there in front of you. Let's see here. So... the bar... what would be behind there? What the heck is playing? Oh, did this thing reset again? Sorry, adjusting the music because I don't want to get music striked. And that's annoying. I guess when Spotify maybe updates or something, it takes off the auto loop and auto shuffle thing, so then it actually switches to other playlists. That's frustrating. I hope that doesn't actually equate to any kind of a strike or something weird. Yeah, no, that can't be a new background song, because I don't actually know if that's commercial free is the thing. Okay. Sorry, I was so in the zone I didn't even notice that. I hope that hasn't been like half an hour's worth of music playing that was not normal. Okay. Okay, I think there's too much right now of the existing stuff. I need to get rid of some of this stuff. I know this happens a lot too when doing graphic design work that I do a lot of the times, where you it's very helpful a lot of the time to legit rip all the elements down, or maybe put them in a corner or something like that. But sometimes just the simple act of taking everything down and then rebuilding it in a way can be extremely helpful. Even if you actually are rebuilding almost the exact same thing, sometimes just the simple act of you reset, and as you're re-putting it back together, it will feel different, you know? So it was only a minute or so, people were saying, for the music. Good. Okay, that's good. Okay, so good. Hopefully it's negligible. Okay, so like that's how that, you can imagine the stage being focused on right there. Oh, here's another idea. If the room is not a perfect square, then the stage could be here. Which could be kind of cool, and maybe even have the stage being curved. All the stuff that I've ever done so far has never really had a big curvature to it, and I do think that it could be kind of cool to actually have something that's a bit curved. I don't think that that's something I've really seen people do. So very shoddy looking right now, but it's just to get the general gist across. Okay. Yeah, actually, I kind of like that idea. I think that's kind of cool and different, right? If you have this, like, maybe a stage that's a bit in an atypical position. And then also that way too, where no matter where you drop into this, you're kind of like already facing the stage. Like it's just kind of right there in front of you. Leads that the bar could go right here. And then maybe I like the idea of going from multiple levels to around where you can dance. I think that's always kind of fun when there's level changes in the build. So I like the idea of having like, you know, some kind of an element, like a dance area that's up here on the sides above the stage. And okay. What did we have over here? We had these, right? Do. Yeah, see, that kind of feels pretty cool. Okay. Like, just having the different levels that people are dancing around, I think is always a fun touch. And they had that in the original build, right? I think that's something that's kind of nice, is to echo. Ideally, I mean, we don't completely make this feel like a completely different place that people, you know, we have familiar elements, so to speak, right? Based off of what people know and love about this place. And so we're not going to totally take those away. If anything, I just want to elaborate on a lot of the existing concepts. And then, of course, adding in, some of our own as well. But yeah, so like having this, the Nalthal lecterns. I actually think... Okay, so how would they descend? I almost want to say the bar might even go here. Or something like that. Oh, all the texture glitching is gonna get kind of weird here, but we also need to make sure that there's a way to get out of here. So we could probably do something over here, where maybe an elevator out or something here. An obvious one would just be to use the stairs to walk out, but I do think it's more fun if we did a drop down that we have the ascent back up. Some kind of an escape route. Escape. How does this feel? Da, da, da. Hello, howdy. Oddvin, welcome to the stream. Thank you for your support. Vieira, male Vieiras unite. Let's see here. Okay. I know. I think, yeah, having it like this could be kind of cool. In that it does free us up quite a bit on the middle here. Let's see here. Just thinking through on the second floor, what do we have going on, right? So that's the midpoint, and right behind here is a staircase. Should be. Yeah, there we go. There's the staircase. Okay, so I wonder how fast you can ascend. I wonder how fast you can make a stairwell that arcs this way and goes up. Oh. Oh, hey. That's fun. Okay. Okay, so stairway, curve. I don't know, all of the Hingen elements kind of don't really work with the theme, which makes me really want to almost just do away with the Hingen stuff if we're gonna utilize some of these things. Okay, but it's good to know there is that space. Wait, before I leave that area, maybe I should just make a note of what I mean by this is there is a space on the side of these stairs that could be used for a custom stairwell. So you don't necessarily have to overlap the stairs exactly on the existing stairs. If we did cut this in half and let the bottom half be hell, then we do actually have not just this thin stairwell, although we could use that, but we also technically have this space over here. So that could be something worth keeping in mind there. Let's grab some of these. Start bringing in some of this hellishness. Oh, it's gonna grab the whole DJ booth. I guess it's not actually the end of the world. Kind of might be a little bit nice that it just comes with it. Easy. Easy peasy lemonade. We will not be able to use that in that way. Okay. Okay, I think we might need to push it out a little bit more. The stage doesn't need to be this big. Because we do want to make sure we have enough room, although we do have the 2 levels. So with the 2 layers, potentially the 2 layers up on the sides, there actually could be quite a lot of dance floor space for people to use. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Too many little micro thoughts, you know? Yeah, there are so many directions that we could take this. I think maybe it's good to make like a mood board of sorts, or more of a mood board. Let's think. I know often we have other people building along with me. What are you guys all working on? I do often feel like we have people creating some other stuff. Working on your tiny house? Oh, nice. How's that coming along, Liara? Ow. Hold on, stretching. Ow. Back. Workshop crafting. Oh, Bodok, do you mean like building your subs and stuff? We've been tweaking various apartments and your FC house, Mia. Oh, okay. Tweaking them in what way? Curious, out of curiosity. You're AFK and you're out right now? Nothing wrong with that. So far, but your wooden skylights keep snapping where you don't want them. Wooden sky... Oh, yeah. Because they're wall mounted, so they snap like crazy. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes that's the 3D chess you gotta play, you know? Where you're like... Gotta plan out where things will, in theory, eventually get plugged in. And then it's just too much of a mess to actually have them floating in the actual space when you're building. So you just kind of yoink them out and then just leave a big gap where they're supposed to go. And then you just plug them in right at the end. I know I've had to do that for a number of stuff that I've built where you just got to reserve the slots and then just know, you know, whatever, how many slots are reserved for those. And there's a space carved out for them. Frick. Using a Fantasia on your alt. Oh, interesting. That's exciting, T. You're in cities skylines, building a cultural / city center for a new coastal city. Is Cities Skylines, is that like The Sims or something? Like a different game, I'm guessing? Let's see, adding small things here and there I have trouble focusing on one project at a time. So I bounce around and just add little things when they come to mind. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I honestly, as long as there's no like major deadlines, these kinds of things, right? When it's a casual like creativity project, I definitely think a change of pace can be really helpful for creativity, right? I know like a lot of people also do just simple things like take a walk, right? Like just go take a walk or like walk, like literally do anything else. And then sometimes that's where all the inspiration strikes. Go take a shit, you know, like it's the whole like inspiration strikes in the shower kind of thing, right? And then suddenly you have that aha moment. What were these again? Oh, right, gargoyles. Okay. Okay, let's nudge this all back quite a bit. I think this can actually go quite a bit back. Yeah, like this can all go way back in here. There we go, that feels better. A little bit more open. This would all get pushed really far up into the wall too. Like it wasn't, this is like way sticking out too much. Oh, and Anonymous. Anonymous gifting a tier 1 sub to Vizrin. Thank you so much, Anonymous. I very much appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it's a new Sim City. Oh, interesting, okay. Spooky build. Once again, hate ceilings. Ooh. Custom ceilings, Alora. Like how you did in Amazon and some of your other spaceship stuff. It's always... Custom ceilings are really cool when they're done. But they are a pain in the ass when you're in the middle of building. For sure. Okay, so yeah, let's just block out some of these bigger things, right? So what if this is the descent? Then there needs to be the ascent back out too. Also, this would get blocked off. Right, let's try to visualize how this can go, right? So potentially there's also then the exit that goes like this. Possibly there's like an exit portal right here. Okay, so know, like for some folks, maybe if you're watching this, whether now or in the future, it might feel like this is kind of chaos, you know, or like what the hell is going on here? And I know, because I remember when I was building Ichi for Roth, he had a lot of the same kind of like watching me laying stuff out, especially early on, and it kind of just looks like, wait, what the fuck is happening, right? Like, you know, you can kind of see like the gist of where you're going, but sometimes it's even worse than this, right? Where there's just kind of crap all over the place. And I do feel like, for me, a big part of it is I spend a lot of time, you know, when we're working on building spaces, whether it's a club or any other kind of space, but just really trying to get a layout and a structure that feels good. Because I think that's so important. And then once that locks into place, it really can inform everything else, you know? Let's see, City Skylines is amazing. Top tier game. It's like SimCity, but more intricate and creative. Interesting. Okay. Is it a multiplayer game, this City Skylines thing? Or is it just, you just build on your own? Or can we like go and walk around your city and stuff? Okay. Oh wait, no. So this can't be the exit if we want people to go like this and then drop. Let's see, how does that feel though? To drop this way. Yeah, I don't like the spinning around thing. I would much prefer people to drop and be facing the action. So I think I'm gonna try to get them to funnel around and drop in this way. Boom. If possible. Single player, but you can zoom in all the way and see people driving in their cars and going about their business. Oh, I see. Yeah. That makes sense. So it is kind of like, it is really kind of like The Sims from what I've gathered, right? Where there's a lot of like NPC stuff happening around the city. It's just a matter of, that, yeah, you're not in control of it all, but there is a lot of stuff happening, so it does feel very alive, so to speak, right? Let's see, so if people drop in this way, how would they get out? I do suppose they could just walk back out, but that's not as interesting. The most obvious way, though, is if they drop in this way. Oh, there's an idea, actually. So what if they actually drop in like that, and then they have to walk around to get out? There's another way to look at it, right? So what if they come in through the door over here? Oh my gosh. Right, and whether it's through here or they basically walk through what would be right here. Let me through, there we go. Then they come through here. Let me through. Ugh, there we go. Okay, so, and then effectively they're gonna drop in let me just go through whatever. Here, like this. And then they go boop, and they drop down. And then they're faced with this, as I think we did talk about, like potentially having them drop into a wall, but I didn't want the wall to be really close to them. But actually, now that I think about it, there's the cutout right here. So this is actually perfect because then they still have a greeting into hell, so to speak. And then they get to still do the flip around, right? Where they get to like pivot through here and then pop out this way. And then their first sight into hell is this way. I like that. Somehow it wasn't feeling right to drop in this way. It felt better to drop into like what feels like an entryway, like a cave entryway. And then you have to kind of like walk through the gates of hell, so to speak, and then pop out this way, maybe, right? I think that's more interesting. That is thematically more interesting in my opinion. And then it kind of can open up like this, you know? Something to that effect. Boom. And then you'd get whatever you're gonna see down here. Yeah. It does mean though that this area is gonna be a little bit closed off in a way, which is not super ideal. Oh, actually, okay, wait. If we make sure the fences are lined up here, that does open it up a little bit more. Yeah, it opens it up a tidbit more, but it doesn't have the nice big open sort of cavern that I was kind of thinking initially. But that might not be the end of the world. Maybe that just means a rethinking of this space. So maybe we don't actually even use the stair area here. Maybe this is the cavern and it extends this way a bit more, right? So if we push the walls out, like if you, yeah, okay. Or even come through here and the stage is there. There's another idea. Yeah, what if maybe if you do have to do the walk around thing, the stage maybe isn't right. It's either right there or it could be right there. I think actually there could be something said about it being there. That kind of hell reveals itself as you go deeper and deeper into it, right? And at the deepest part, like over here, this is where the stage would be. More build up, I think, to sort of the reveal of that, right? Let's see. Oh, I see. SimCity, so to speak. Like SimCity 4 versus The Sims is what you guys are saying. Mia's saying, how do people get out? It's just making me think of if you die in the Hades game and it tells you there is no escape. There you go. The only way is to call for aid and warp yourself out. You're just trapped. Which, I mean, like at Prominence, that is what we have to do, where it's like the only way to, without ghosting through the floor and stuff, the way to get out is you just warp to the front door, right? And I do feel like that is an option where we just say, instead of having to like bend over backwards to create a mechanism for people to get back out, but like have to burn like 1,000,000 slots on doing that, because we're already trying to achieve a lot in this build. I do feel like maybe there's something to be said about that for at least to some degree. Some of these things, it's just going to be, yeah, you gotta just warp to the front door. There is no escape from hell. There is no logical escape from hell. You really basically have to just warp out. And that would, I mean, that would track. That would make sense thematically as well, right? That there isn't just a nice little elevator that you just walk out of hell from. So people don't seem to have I don't know. I mean, hey, to all my regulars at Prominence, I mean, have you seen people complain that like there isn't a way out or anything? I've never heard anybody come to me about Prominence and say, I love this place, but god damn it, man, why is there no way out? I think most people are just like, I don't know how to do it, maybe, but they don't really have a problem with it, right? Let's see, how do people get Yushikuma, hi! Welcome back to the stream. Kind of like the warp. The RP walk to the exit. Right. So like, yeah, having to full on walk out sometimes takes a little bit of time. And I mean, if you wanted to RP, then I mean, usually what I recommend people to do is you walk back into the entry hallway of Prominence and then you warp out, right? So you're not like poofing out of existence on the dance floor. But you could easily do that here too, right? Where if you wanted to roleplay that you're leaving somehow, you just walk back into the cave here or something. Or maybe there can be an area over, you know, just walk off to the side a bit and then you warp out, right? So it doesn't necessarily need to have, again, I think a full ascent and descent mechanism for both. Just keep in mind too, this is for both heaven and hell that they need to get in and out of. And they need to be able to do this, well, hey, people from Eluded Ecstasy, question if we got anybody who... Actually, let me fire this out first. Is there anybody here in the chat who works at Eluded Ecstasy still? Just want to... If you are, please stand up. Please stand up. And my question for you, should you stand up, is... There you are. Okay. So, is it always, Amelia, the case where they're in heaven first and then you go to hell? Is there ever a time where you have hell and then they ascend to heaven? Or that you're ping-ponging back and forth throughout a night? Okay. Because the reason I asked that is because if the only thing is just to exit, they warp to the front door, that's fine. But I do think it would be kind of annoying if you're making them do that too many times. But... Okay, yeah, so most of the time, though, it is the case that they will go to heaven and then they can run down to do the hell jump kind of thing. Yeah, so the moving down to hell needs to be nice and seamless, but getting out of here could potentially have a warp or something, maybe. Is what I'm hearing. Yeah, I mean, something, you know, again, just trying to think through what's the user experience throughout the night as they get here. I just want to make sure to keep in mind to not create a burden on anybody, right? Or make it feel like it's a hassle. So. Oh, there's an idea, Kaya. Like having to jump your way out, like a jump puzzle out. You know, oh man, so I would love to do something fancier with the ascent and descent. Because actually, in a perfect situation, I would love it if you didn't even have to go back to purgatory. I would love it if I could drill a hole from the ceiling all the way down to the floor and just have you drop straight from heaven all the way down into the bottom. That would be super cool. But we can't do that. At least I'm not aware of anything. If anybody is aware of a way to make a reverse elevator that fires you from the top through the floor back downward, I mean, I would love to hear it, but I am not aware of such things. But we can that's definitely something that we can consider. Like, thematically, it would be really cool. Although I don't know if it will work given the space of some of this stuff. An easy way would be you just have the stairway that lets you walk back up, you know? You descend down if you want the cool descent, but realistically there is just the normal ascent back up, and it pops you out like in some little side area behind purgatory or something. You know, there's like this hall, instead of this hallway being here, the hallway would be here. That clearly just leads you right into the tunnel here. But when you're going back out, there's like a less obvious way that you kind of like pop out into purgatory and escape back over to here, in a way. So, and yes, cannot teleport down. Yep, that is what I thought. I've never heard of a way or never seen any way where you could warp downward. I've only seen people warp upward. Okay, but I do like this, even if it does mean people have to potentially teleport out. I don't really think that's the end of the world, too. I think it thematically makes sense to have to escape out of hell through magical means, in a way. One does not simply walk out of hell. So, warping out of hell makes sense, and I like maybe that the descent, you have the descent, the flip, the pivot here, and you come out here. And then our stage. And like I said, I actually am kind of leaning towards trying to... Maybe there is an alcove over here with some stuff like the bar or something, but... Okay, wait. A subtle change could be that we do it like this, where it is at least a little bit rounded off. And part of that would be needing to inform people when they're up top that there is actually a lip here where you have to jump a little bit. Like, it's not that they can jump right here because they might fall right at this edge. But as long as we get them to definitely land, you know, boop, and then they go here, right? And then by having it this way, then it does kind of open it up a little bit more versus having that squared off. I just don't like having that view blocked too much. Or we block off part of this area and circle it around this way. Okay, let's just feel how that feels actually. Whatever, it's just some extra partitions. Okay, so how would this feel? Too small. That's definitely too small. But if it was like that, little snail coil here, drop down, walk through, turn, bam. And I think that's doable. There could even be an argument, yeah. Feeling this way. Yeah. Okay. Maybe this would make an argument for pushing the walls back out. No use getting attached to anything particular right now. Now is the time. Now is the time to muck around with all this stuff and experiment with all the spacing and everything, right? Okay, this way, drop, walk, pivot. There we go. That's starting to feel a little better. I like how, okay, I know I said I didn't like things feeling cavernous, but in the case of this, I think this actually might become like a literal like cave, like a cavern. So I do feel like having this ability to pivot around this way and having this not feel super initially like claustrophobic-y. It should feel a little bit like it opens up. And then here, yeah, okay, I can work with that. Maybe the stage is there now. It is dead on. And this feels pretty cool, like a pit.
To the floor.
Huh. Okay. Let's see. Can you fall outside of the house all the way to the bottom? Then wait, can you fall outside of the house all the way to the bottom? Then get in through the floor by teleporting up from below the basement? Do you mean like if we Mono, are you talking about if we put them in the void? Oh, I see. Is that what you're saying? We're kind of talking, yeah, we're talking about potential of elevators. Hi, Sakiko, by the way. Welcome back to the stream. I know that it takes you down, but I'm sure it involves the void. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so, Mono, I won't be using the void. Just like a flat out statement, pretty much. So I'm not going to be I don't build with any third-party tools. And so I can't really build in the void. I know that there's like ways to build in the void, but we're not going to use the void. So, so all the solutions that we have to think of need to be doable in the base game, and we're not going to use the void. But yes, I think in theory you could do something like that, where you like fall outside the house and then like you ascend back up through the floor. But yeah, we're not going to use the void if we can help that. So. Okay, if we do that, how does that feel? Walk. That doesn't feel quite right. This feels like too much of a pivot. Somehow. I think people need to see the stage there. Okay, I do feel like it needs to be an Ichi thing where that lamp is where the stage should be. So when they go around like this, somehow, yeah, I don't know. It's a subtle thing, but it feels like this is too... I'm turning too much to get to the stage view this way, I think. I think it's nicer if it goes like this and it's there. If it's right here. The stage, and there can be the bar and stuff back here, but I think the stage needs to be here, right? I think that'll feel better. Let's just try that really quick. Okay. Let's reset. There we go. So here, walk, turn, boom. That, okay, yeah, I like that. I like that better. I think this is too deep, too wide maybe. So I think it makes the most sense right now where, yeah, pivot, flip, stage, bar in this back corner. So actually the bartenders can even face the stage like this, right? So you're at the bar, you're in the inverse of the stage. And then maybe there's the seating over here. If there's extra seating or something. Possibly the bar on the right, arguably. Even against the back wall, but I kind of think it might be nice if there's... Okay, stage, cages on either side of the stage, I think would be fun for like the dancers, right? And have maybe like for the dancer people, they could be in, you know, demon succubus kind of glams or something like that. That could be kind of fun, right? And there's sort of like a flame throne or something here. Very King of the Demons maybe sort of vibes or something. Yeah, bar here, seating, question mark? Or maybe just a raised area over here. Like a raised platform where people are dancing. Almost like a VIP, but it's, I don't think they, Eluded, do you guys have VIP? Like, is that actually, out of curiosity, is that something at all that we need to include, like a specific VIP seating area? Is that anything? I didn't notice that in your previous iteration here. When I say that, there's a difference between, so I guess on one level, do you have VIP as a service, like a VIP service or thing that people can buy into? And then wait, Zavina just went live at Eluded? Oh, right, because it's Monday. So you guys have your opening. So there's people outside right now? Up top, right? Outside in the yard? Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so I think it's closed, right? It should be closed up. Good. Okay. So you have VIP service. It includes a few things, but one of them was VIPs could dance on some special rafters to the left and right of the stage. Got it. Okay, so that was the elements that we were on the left and right originally on the stage, and that I'm talking about potentially making... Okay, so yes, in short, VIP should have a potential extra thing. Okay, so VIP should potentially have extra ability to go somewhere kind of cool. But it doesn't need to be like a grand seating area or something like that. We'd like to have a special VIP area if possible. At the very least in Hell, Heaven would be a bonus. Got it, okay. So yes, I do think possibly bar to the right, VIP in the back. Or not in the back, but like on the side here. And they get their own kind of like platform or something that they get to kind of be looking out this way at the dance floor. All right, that's good. I'm feeling good about that. Just a thought, what if instead of an elevator leaving Hell, it's a guardian angel? Just a housing NPC with the new wing wall decorations, then a normal elevator set up around them. Might fit the theme. Oh, that's an interesting way to think of it, yeah. Said Teague earlier. Yeah, actually, I was thinking about doing something like that. Not for Hell, but that's a good idea. I was actually thinking of even having that as guardians of the entrance to heaven. But I also think that could be cool. That could be cool to also potentially have this like. That is a cool idea. Yeah, Kaya and Kintique, I am definitely making note of both your ideas there. I think there could be a way to make that happen. Yeah. I'll think through it a little bit, but I think there could be something cool we could do with that. Okay. So it doesn't have a private area. Yes, it doesn't have an exclusive private area, but some special seating on a platform or something would be great. Okay. Yes. Yeah, we'll make sure that there's a VIP thing going on. $370. Goodness. Okay, wait, how much shit is going on behind here though? How many slots do we have here happening here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Okay, so there's almost like 40 slots worth of stuff just behind here that we can't even see. With this and the bar, okay, so that's at least 50 slots. Okay, that's 50 slots at least there. And then we're gonna probably truncate heaven a bit. When I say truncate, I don't mean make it bad. I just mean we might shrink it down. Also, I realize I should probably stop streaming very soon because I don't want to confuse people. Because I know if Eluded is playing and people see that I'm streaming and I'm walking around Eluded, it's going to confuse the hell out of people. Okay. I might call the stream here. Because I think also we're at time anyway. So, for any of you who would like to come to party at Eluded, you can't come inside right now because I'm ripping half the place apart. But they are outside right now and partying in the garden. And Zavina is playing. I will raid us over to her so that you can just go and party with her as I end this stream. And I will, as I mentioned, I think on the first stream, I'll mention it again, but I'm going to be working a lot on this outside of stream just because in order to get this done in a timely manner, I can't only build it on stream. So, it might be a little bit different when you next see this, but that'll be part of the fun. Is you'll get it's gonna be a peek in and out of me building this whole thing, and you'll kind of get looks at different stages of it. I think that'll be nice. So the next time I will be streaming is this Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. PST again, same time, same place, and we'll continue wherever I'm at when it gets to Thursday, and I'll bring you up to speed on wherever we're at. So yeah, hopefully this gave you though a little bit of a look at. Let me have a seat here. Hopefully this gave you a little extra look at how I might go about laying out a nightclub, or how to like think through some of that stuff. Hopefully maybe spark some ideas for people, had some inspiration, was interesting, hopefully. Was this interesting? I don't know. I know it was a little slow at sometimes, and I know I sometimes worry about that, where I'm not quite sure if it's exciting enough, like, because you know sometimes the more like I'm just doing a really small idea can make it a bit more actively like I'm constantly building, but you know the reality is this is closer to like what an actual project would be like. So you are kind of getting an honest look at me, how I would approach this even if I was off stream. So I don't know, hopefully that's been interesting to y'all. So yeah. That's true. And in a way, I do hope that for the folks who eventually do then come party at the new Eluded Ecstasy after we do the rework, hopefully for those of you who have watched this stream and stuff, for you in particular, maybe there will be a bit of an extra connection, you know, to the rework and extra things you can tell people, you know, as they're partying in here. You can tell them little bits of the backstory behind some of these things we're working on, and like what was the thought process, and in a way, kind of like you're kind of like getting the lore behind it, as it were, right? So I hopefully, especially for the folks like who work at Eluded or come party here, it'll be a little thing that lets you feel connected to the club a bit more, because you'll understand the lore and the backstory and kind of like what's happening, you know, in this build. So watching this made you want to create a venue in FC? Yeah. I mean, if it made you fired up to do that kind of thing, then I guess I'm doing my job right. So cool. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming out to the stream. I very much appreciate everybody always supporting my housing stream. And quick update, I know I haven't published a schedule yet this week. I will, but this week I'm working on this a lot, and a number of other things, including I'm gonna roll out some changes to the Discord, so I'll also update people in the Discord. I didn't even say it once this time, so bada boom. If you like what you saw here, and you're not already aware, I have a Discord server. It's where I really run all the stuff that I'm doing as a streamer and content creator. I am a housing designer. I'm also a DJ. I also own and built my own nightclub that I run. And basically all of the stuff that I'm doing is really at the moment hubbed and kind of like housed within my Discord server. It's the best place to get notifications about all my upcoming streams, all the upcoming changes and happenings that are coming down the road. So yeah, if you would like to get looped in on when I go live and everything, that's the best way. Join the Discord server. Would love to have y'all. This Thursday, we'll continue building in here. And this Saturday, I actually just booked a small gig over at Morpho. So I'll be playing an 1.5-hour set on Saturday night at Morpho for the first time. I've never played there before, so I don't really know what to expect, but there was an opportunity there, and yeah, I thought I'd, try out a new club. So I know that hadn't been announced previously, so something to look forward to on Saturday if you're around. And for now, though, until Thursday, have a wonderful rest of your week, everybody. Thank you again for coming to the stream. And I'm going to raid us on over to Zavina, who is playing literally outside. In fact, I will walk us right outside, and then I'll raid into her. So I think that makes the most sense, right? Okay, here we go. Let's go to Zavina. As we ride out here and have hell. Boom. Here we go. Chaos. If it will ever load. Okay. Again, thank you, everybody. Have fun if you stick around. For those of you who have the volume turned up for whatever reasons, I know the music is kind of low here in my stream. You may want to turn it down, because I'm going to race into Zavina, and she's probably playing some hype music. So have some fun clubbing with Zavina if you stick around for that. And if not, talk to you soon. If this damn thing will ever load. Come on now. There it is. Bada boom. Okay, there we go. There's the party that you could come be a part of right now. So, and in fact, I'm gonna send you right on to that party right now. Thank you, everybody. Good evening and good night.